بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. This is lesson number 88 from the explanation of Bulugh Al-Maram. Inshallah, today we'll continue where we left off in the last lesson, which is like in the last lesson we began talking about the things that it's not permissible for a woman to do while she's in a state of menstruation. And inshallah, we'll take another. In the last lesson we dealt with the fasting and praying. And inshallah, this hadith today, inshallah, we'll be dealing with the issue of tawwaaf, inshallah. And we'll try to take, we'll see how much time is left and try to take the next hadith and maybe the last one, inshallah, we'll see. So this hadith is reported on the authority of Aisha radiallahu anha. قالت لما جئنا صرف حط فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم افعلي ما يفعل الحاج غير أن لا تطوفي بالبيت حتى تطهري متفق عليه في حديث طويل. So we have Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, لما جئنا صرف. And Sarif is a mantaqa, is a place which is according to the Shurrah of Bulugh Al-Maram, is about 16 kilometers away from the Haram. It's between Mecca and Medina, and it's the distance from the Haram is about 16 kilometers. All right, and it's closer, it's between even closer to Tan'im, which Tan'im is where the people they go into Al-Ihram. If they're in Mecca and then they want to make Umrah, so they go to Tan'im, they make Ihram, and then they come back and they do Al-Umrah. I mean, obviously this will not be in the case for Hajj because the person is Muqim. For Al-Hajj, he will make Ihram from wherever he's at, if he's in Mecca or in the surrounding areas. But if for Umrah, you go to Tan'im and you make ihram and then you return, inshallah, and these issues will go over in Kitab al-Hajj, inshallah. All this is going to come, and this is actually from this hadith. This issue, this masala about Tan'im, is actually from the full hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, which this is only a piece of, because the only thing that he's dealing with right now is he's dealing with the issue of the tawwaaf, because this is an issue that it's not permissible for a woman to do when she's in a state of menstruation. So she said, so لما جئنا صرف. So once they got to this place, to this buqa, this mantaqa, صرف, حطوا, she began menstruating. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, and then the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said to her, افعلي ما يفعل الحاج. I need do everything that the people of Hajj do, غير أن لا تطوفي بالبيت, except for that you do not do the tawaf بالبيت حتى تطهري, until you become pure, until you purify yourself, and then she can go back and do it. But until she does that, then she's not to make a tawaf. And the wisdom behind that is the hukm and the hikmah, or the illah, I guess you could say. The reasoning behind that is that tawaf is considered similar to a salat, and this came in a hadith in Sunan al-Tirmidhi, and also other than Sunan al-Tirmidhi. It's a hadith in Ibn Abbas and radiallahu anhuma, in which he said, الطواف حول البيت مثل الصلاة إلا أنكم تتكلمون فيه فمن تكلم فيه فلا يتكلمن إلا بخير. So this narration is reported on the authority of Ibn Abbas, in which he said that and the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam called it الطواف حول البيت. So making tawaf around the Kaaba, مثل الصلاة, is like salat, is similar to salat. إلا أنكم تتكلمون فيه, except that you're allowed to speak during tawaf. فمن تكلم فيه, and whoever speaks during his tawaf, فلا يتكلمن إلا بخير, then he should not speak anything but good, because you should busy yourself with dhikrullah, you should busy yourself with istighfar, you should busy yourself with beneficial, remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at this time, and you shouldn't busy yourself with any other type of speech anyways. I mean, obviously, if you have the opportunity to go to Mecca, I mean, all the other foolish talk, you can do that all year long, but if you have this opportunity to go to Mecca either for Hajj or for Umrah, you don't want to waste this time talking about foolish talk. Spend your time in the remembrance of Allah, making dua and things that are beneficial for you. Just like the Prophet ﷺ said, فَمَنْ تَكَلَّمَ فِيهِ فَلَا يَتَكَلَّمَنَّ إِلَّا بِخَيْرٍ. So the main thing, shahid min al-hadith, is that it's not permissible. So we have the three things that it's not permissible for a woman to do on a daily, on a normal, just a normal level, that she's not allowed to pray and she's not allowed to fast. If it's whether it's a obligatory fast or a nawafil, something that she's fasting is just like from the sunnah, or she's just fasting just to fast, whatever the case may be, then it's not permissible. And she's not allowed to make tawwaaf in the time that she's menstruating. Insha'Allah, we'll go ahead and take the next hadith, which is an Mu'adh رضي الله عنه أنه سأل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما يحل لرجل من امرأته وهي حائض فقال ما فوق الإزار رواه أبو داود وضعفه. And this issue we've spoken about anyways, where in previous lessons, which the hadith actually comes on Aisha radiallahu anha, which she said قالت كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يأمرني فأتزر فيباشرني وأنا حائض متفق عليه. So this issue has already come up, and also the other previous hadith in Anas, in which the Prophet ﷺ said, "Isna'u kulla shay'in illa nikah." So anything above the izar is permissible for a woman, for a man and a woman at the time of her menstruation. Obviously, the thing that is not permissible is that they actually have sexual intercourse, and this is not permissible under any circumstances. And we already talked about the issue about that in the previous lesson, about a person who does fall into that, and there's no kafara for the person. The person has to make tawbah. That's his kafara. And as far as the hadith being da'if, Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah, he mentioned that in his tahqiq of Sunan Abi Dawood, and the hadith of the Dhiyaf Sunan Abi Dawood, and he mentioned three different reasons. So anybody that wants to go back and check that can go back and check the Da'if Sunan Abi Dawood Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah. But but the hadith itself, although the chain of narration is not authentic, but there are shawahid for this hadith, as far as like what we mentioned, what I mentioned previously, the hadith of Anas, and the statement and then Aisha radiallahu anhuma. Both of those two hadiths, they kind of support the meaning of this hadith, the meaning of it, but the chain of narration is not authentic. And Insha'Allah, we're going to go ahead and take this the last hadith, which this hadith is connected to a Nifaas, and a Nifaas is not exactly menstruation, because the Nifaas, it comes after childbirth. It's the blood that is that the woman experiences after childbirth. So this is not the same type of blood as the menstruation, but because of its similarities, there's similarities. So there's also similarity in the rulings. So, but we're going to see in a moment, inshallah. So that's why they always put the issues of Nifaas with the hayd, because of the similarities. She said, one, this hadith is an Salama رضي الله عنها قالت كان النفساء تقعد على عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بعد نفاسها 40 يوما رواه الخمسة إلا النسائي ولفظ لأبي داود وفي لفظ له ولم يأمرها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بقضاء صلاة النفاس وصححه الحاكم. So here we have Salama رضي الله عنها قالت كانت النفساء. النفساء is the woman who's experiencing it's the plural form, obviously, the women that are experiencing Nifaas. And like I said, Nifaas is the blood that comes out after the childbirth, and then it lasts for different periods of time for different women. And inshallah, this is an issue that we'll get to in a moment, inshallah. So it said كانت النفساء تقعد في عهد رسول الله. تقعد, she used to stay and sit down, and she didn't, and it's the same ruling. She's not praying, she's not fasting, she can't do tawwaaf bil bayt, any of these actions. So the same thing that's not permissible for the woman who's in a state of menstruation, it's the same for the woman who's in a state of Nifaas. بعد نفاسها 40. So here she said after the Nifaas, after the childbirth, she would stay like this in this manner for 40 days. for 40 days. All right. رواه الخمسة إلى النسائي. So the five narrated it. And of course, whenever, again, Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar, whenever he says رواه الخمسة, it means all the books of the Sunan, except for obviously Bukhari and Muslim is not involved in this, and the Musnad of Imam Ahmed. So all of those five of the Sunan, the four of the Sunan, and the Musnad of Imam Ahmed, except for An-Nasa'i. So all of them narrated this hadith. Well, and this narration, this wording is for Abi Dawood. And then he said in another wording, he said, وَفِي لَفْظٍ لَهُ وَلَمْ يَعْمُرْهَا النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ بِقَضَاءِ صَلَاةِ النِّفَاسِ وَصَحَّحَهُ الْحَاكِمُ. And then the Prophet ﷺ also would not command her to make up the salat. And Shaykh Uthaymeen rahimahullah, he mentioned as far as in his Sharh al-Mumti', and he's talking about the characteristics of this the Nifaas. He said, وَنِفَاسُ دَمٌ يَخْرُجُ مِنَ الْمَرْأَةِ بَعْدَ الْوِلَادَةِ أو معها أو قبلها بيومين أو ثلاثة مع طلق أو بدون طلق فالذي يخرج قبل الولادة دم فساد وليس بشيء. So he said that this is a type of blood it is excreted from the womb. يخرج من المرأة بعد الولادة. So after she's given birth, أو معها, or during the time that she's given birth, or it might even start to occur 2 days or 3 days before she gives birth. And what he means by talq here, it means it's the pain that a woman feels when she's about to go into childbirth. So this is called talq. So that's why he said it has to have that condition of if it's before 2 days or 3 days before she gives birth, it has to be ma'a talq. He said أما بدون طلق. He said أما بدون طلق فالذي يخرج قبل الولادة الدم فسادا وليس بشيء. And he said as far as the one that's any blood that comes out without the pain of childbirth, like when she starts to go into those labor pains, then it's just bad blood. It's just coming out. It's being flushed out of the body. The body's being purified. So it's not that type of blood that's going to prevent the woman from praying, fasting, or doing. I mean, obviously at that state she probably wouldn't be fasting anyways, but she still have to pray. So in this case, she still pray. But if she starts to see the blood come out of her womb at this time, and she notices the blood at the time, like she starts to feel those labor pains, and at this point, then that's the starting of the damu nifas, and at this point, she wouldn't be praying. Now, as far as like the period of time that the woman will stay in the state of nifas, I mean, first off, there's a lot of ikhtilaf regarding this hadith, whether or not it's authentic or not. And the stronger opinion that the hadith is not authentic. Although Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah, he does make the hadith authentic, but other ulama have not regarded this hadith as being authentic based on certain aspects of the chain of narration. And that's mainly due to one of the narrators, which is Massa Basat al-Azdiyah. All right, so based on the issue in regards to her, some of the people might take Hafidh ibn Hajar's statement in a Taqrib, which he just says Saduq. But you can't make a hukum on the people in the chains of narration. You can't make a hukum on those individuals in the chains of narration based on what is written in Taqrib. You have to go back, and if Hafidh ibn Hajar says Saduq, you have to go back and check that, because you're going to find, because Saduq is like basically him saying that in the Taqrib is the lowest level of it's just basically is Hasan, and it's really on the edge of not being even Hasan, it's like almost like the lowest. It's one of the lowest levels of of being authentic. But sometimes in Taqrib he'll say for a person Saduq, but then when you go to the other books of Rijal, you're looking like Tahdhib al-Kamal or Tahdhib al-Tahdhib, or go to Lisan al-Mizan and check the person there, and then you start to see that there's a lot more speech than Saduq, and then the ulama didn't regard the person as being Suduq, basically. So, in that regards, like I said, the ikhtilaf of the chain of narration, it goes back to that female, to that narrator. So the people that regard her as being weak, her narration as being weak, khalas, they don't accept the hadith. Shaykh Al-Albani, rahimahullah, he took the statement of Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar, says Suduq, so he accepted the hadith and made it Hasan. Alhamdulillah, if you agree with Shaykh Al-Albani with that, then you can, there's no issue with that. He's an imam. But as far as like I said, taking the statement out of Taqrib, I won't agree with that. And so no, the hadith, stronger opinion that the hadith is not authentic. So as far as saying that it's exactly 40 days, then this is not the issue, because if, like I said, on the opinion that the hadith is not authentic, then khalas. there's no head, like, there's no specifying the time of how long that the woman has to sit for the Nifaas. I mean, basically she sits until the blood stops. Whether that's 40 days, whether that's 30 days, whether that's 20 days, whether that's 60 days. It's until she notices the blood after she is either one, she started going into labor pains and then she noticed the blood, or two, she didn't notice the blood until after the childbirth. Whatever the case may be, she begins her Nifaas, and she will continue in that state until she notices that the blood is finished. Just like the menstruation. Once the blood cuts off and it stops and the woman knows that the blood is finished, she goes and she makes a ghusl, and she continues on, praying and fasting and doing the things as she would normally do. But it's once she sees that blood, once she sees the stoppage of the blood, and then that's that. So inshallah, with the completion of that hadith and the completion of this issue, we have now completed Kitab al-Tahara. Walillahi alhamd. So inshallah, from the next lesson, we'll be starting from Kitab al-Salat, inshallah. وإلى هنا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.